You're listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business, and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you, so make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Now get started again.
And we're live right here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
We want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages at Vito and Vito Show, and allow my co-host to explain what you're listening to.
We are two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole, Brooklyn, New York. We are committed to defending the principles of liberty, free markets, and conservatism, Vito. We hold no punches on the show.
That's right, conservatism, libertarianism, individualism, it's all there. Right here in the Vito and Vito Show, man, we suffered a defeat. Last week, Vito, we did. We suffered a pretty bad defeat.
You talking about the New York primary?
Talking about the New York primary, yes. We're out of Brooklyn, we're out of New York. That's in New York for those of you who do not know, yes. And we did suffer a loss last week. Ted Cruz losing pretty bad. Didn't pick up a single delegate. We are Cruz supporters on the show, for those of you who do not know.
We did vote for him.
Yes.
That on the record.
I did.
Show.
Yes, at the record show that Vito and I did vote for Ted Cruz. But it is tough, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it was a tough loss. Cruz not picking up a single delegate. The question is there hope for the man? That is going to be the question for tonight. Because honestly, Vito, a lot of people are writing him off. Technically, mathematically, he cannot get the nomination out, right? But we knew that from the beginning. He had a very tough road. And now it's official. Now there's no way for him to get to delegates.
Yeah, well, we knew that even from the beginning that Cruz was not going to get to the 1237 from the beginning. You know, Trump had a major lead. I think it's around 300 delegates ahead of Cruz right now, and maybe about 5 million delegates ahead of Kasich. So those guys are mathematically eliminated. However, thanks to the RNC rules, if Donald Trump does not get to the 1237 thresholds, there's a broken convention. We all know this. That leaves the delegates unbounded the second time around to vote, and that gives Ted Cruz an opportunity to win the nomination at the broken convention. And even if they want to change the rules there, right, John Kasich might even get on. You know, the RNC can change the rules to whatever they want. Who knows what they're going to do? But right now it's between Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. But we got to see if he gets to 1237.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. It's that Ted Cruz is basically in a little bit of trouble, but it's all right. We have a caller. Should we take it, Vito?
Duh.
Yeah, let's take the caller. You're on the Vito and Vito Show. How can I help you?
This is Paul Nealon calling in for Vito and Vito.
Hey, Paul. Welcome to the program. We're talking about the New York primary. What did you think?
Well, what did I think of the primary? Look, I'm glad everybody's getting engaged. I'm glad that people are participating. I'm fascinated to read all the different stories that are coming out of the primary.
I mean, it really is exciting, but you have a race yourself. Is that true?
That's absolutely right. That's the race I'm focused on here in Wisconsin's 1st District against Speaker Ryan.
Yeah, well, he is a rhino. Let's just call it out for what it is. The man's the rhino. And here you are, running against him. What made you want to run against Paul Ryan?
Well, the reason I wanted to run against Paul Ryan was his championing of the job-killing, district-leveling trade deal, also known as Trans-Pacific Partnership. When he decided to go for fast-track trade promotion authority for President Obama, I just could not believe he would do something like that. And so I called his office. I wrote him letters. And sorry, I've got a bit of a cough. Nothing. I couldn't get a hold of him. And here I was a guy who pounded signs, made phone calls. I bought his book and gave it away as gifts. And that's how invested I was. The level of betrayal, I can't even adequately describe the level of betrayal with that trade deal, which is going to export our jobs overseas. And even worse, they're going to import workers to replace us in our own jobs. And so Paul Ryan says one thing in this district and is completely different in Washington. I couldn't figure out why, but I've since figured it out. Looked at his FEC reports, and lo and behold, Paul Ryan, 83% of his money comes from outside of this district. And of that 83%, 65% comes in the form of large donations from his special interest buddies in D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia. So it's not that hard of a story to tell. Paul Ryan is not voting on behalf of this district. Paul Ryan's voting on behalf of Tom Donahue and U.S. Chamber of Commerce, big banks, big law firms, big insurance companies, against American workers. I couldn't stand by and watch it happen.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you're running, and it's a good thing that you're trying to definitely make a difference right here, because it really does matter. Paul Ryan, it's not just, he's not just lying to the voters in his district and the constituents there. He's also lying to the American people. He says he's going to go ahead and fight Obama on lots of things, and he doesn't. It's all talk with him.
No.
But what makes you different? I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these politicians, if I could use Donald Trump's words, they lie. Are you going to be true to your word? Are you going to follow through on what you're going to say? And what are you standing for?
Absolutely. I'm standing for the American worker. I'm standing for the people of this district. I started out at the age of 18 working in a factory. I worked my way up, got an engineering degree at night. Well, I was working in that factory. I ended up running that factory. I run factories around the U.S. I was in charge of Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for a Fortune 500 company. I've run factories and businesses around the world. So why would somebody trust me? Because I've had over 10,000 employees around the globe who when I walked into their factory, they approach me and they say, "Boss, let me show you something that I did since you've been gone." They send me emails. Look at my LinkedIn. Look at the testimonials that people have put on my LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. I mean, that stuff tugs on your heartstrings. Paul Ryan, I moved to this district to run a business for a Fortune 500 during the downturn, during 08 and 09. And I loved it here. Absolutely loved it here. Had the opportunity to live really anywhere. I met a woman who lives in the area, and we got married, and I've got family, friends. I've got business in Wisconsin. I love it here.
Well, it definitely matters to have that personal connection, because Paul doesn't. You alluded to the fact before that he takes a lot of donations from the D.C. area, from the lobbyists, and it really is shocking. But apparently, Paul Ryan, we've seen the song and dance before, he said he's not going to run for House Speaker. He has no intention. Sure enough, he became House Speaker. He comes out a couple of weeks ago and says he's not going to run for president. Who knows what the rules are going to be come the convention. He might become the Republican nominee if they construe the rules, which means you got a pretty open seat if that's the case. Paul Ryan at this point is not the guy that we want to look towards. But I got some questions. Number one, are you a Tea Party guy? Are you a grassroots conservative?
I'm a grassroots guy. People have said, are you a Tea Party guy? Are you this? I'm building a coalition here. And I just spoke to a gentleman earlier today. I was on another show, and he was a liberal progressive, and the guy's sitting there and he had a Bernie shirt on. I'm talking to him and I'm saying, look, we've got a lot of common ground issues. Who in their right mind thinks a bureaucrat in Washington knows better about your children than you do? I'll tell you who. Paul Ryan does. Paul Ryan thinks he knows better than you do about your children. And he pushes through the ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act, and they data mine your children. Paul Ryan thinks he knows how to spend your money better than you do. Paul Ryan spent $1.8 million. Paul Ryan says he's for smaller government, less regulation, but Paul Ryan in Congress spends $1.8 trillion, the biggest spending speaker in the history of speakers, wow. $1.8 trillion to his special interest buddies in D.C. I can go on and on. Paul Ryan funds every dangerous immigration policy that they can dream up. He funds them. Mm-hmm. So how Paul Ryan thinks, this Puerto Rico thing, just the other day, he's railing on about we need to bail out Puerto Rico. Paul Ryan's first, and then he says it's not a bailout. He says it's a restructuring. So Paul Ryan's for smaller government. That's what he tells you. What did he say about Puerto Rico? First thing out of his mouth is we need to create a board that manages. His first solution is more government. Mm-hmm. Come on. This guy's a joke. This guy's a bar joke at this point. So you can't believe what he says anymore. He is absolutely turned into a bar joke. He says, he just gets on CNN this morning, I think, and says he's not John Boehner. No, you're worse. You're not John Boehner. You're John Boehner on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't disagree with you on that, Paul. That's pretty much the facts. I want to talk about that Puerto Rico thing in just a second, but my next question is, sure. President, who do you have for president? Do you have anybody, or are you just focusing on the race that you have right now? People have asked me this. If you go to my website, electnealon.com, I've got some papers out there, and I talk about this because I've been asked a bunch of times. The more fun way to go to my website, by the way, I'll tell you this, I'll tell your listeners, is dumppaulryan.com. Go to dumppaulryan.com and you'll see a mammoth dump truck that we bought and we painted yellow like a Tonka truck. And on the side of it, emblazoned on the side, it says, to get the dirt on Ryan, go to dumppaulryan.com. You guys will love seeing this. It's going to be all over the district. People are getting their picture taken with it. People are changing their Twitter and their Facebook pictures to that truck. Yeah, I see the truck right now. I see the truck right now, and I love it. It is a Tonka truck. It has Dump Paul Ryan, and it is great. If you go to the website again, dumppaulryan.com, it is great because Absolutely. It has this big truck right here. It says, get the dirt on Ryan at dumppaulryan.com. It is actually great. You're going to love this website, dumppaulryan.com. I don't know who came up with it, but I absolutely love it. Okay, awesome. So do you have anybody for president in particular?
Yeah, so look, I am for the people of First District. If your guy or your person is still in, keep pulling for him. I'm happy for you to keep pulling for your person. I need to build a broad coalition. Mm-hmm. In Wisconsin, we had a presidential primary on August 5th, right? We have the congressional primary on August 9th, completely separate election. I need to build a broad coalition. It's an open primary, so Democrats can come across and vote for me. Republicans can vote for me. Libertarians can vote for me. Constitutional Party people can vote for me. Anybody can vote for me. I need everybody's vote. Paul Ryan's got 100% name recognition. Normally they would say, don't bring up your competition's name. I'm calling him out. I was one of his biggest supporters in this district, and nobody has argued with me on policy. None of these guys in the district, the state GOP party, they're not helping me. They're shunning me. They are shunning me at the state level here because They don't want me to primary Paul Ryan. They don't want me to point out Paul Ryan didn't do what he said he was going to do. He's betrayed all of us, Democrats, Republicans, Tea Partiers, everybody. Paul Ryan has betrayed the entire nation. So, look, I'm dumping a bunch of my own money into this campaign. That's how much I believe in myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for donations. I'm not independently wealthy like one of the presidential candidates. I'm asking for donations because Paul Ryan's got, honestly, he had $5 million. I heard today, I think he's got $7 million in his campaign war chest. He's been in Congress for 18 years. He was a staffer before that for Jack Kemp. He's worked for a number of people. Paul Ryan, he is the essence. He is the manifestation of being grown in a petri dish in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
He is what they wanted. So the Kabuki theater of we're going to defund Planned Parenthood and defund these other things after we pass the 1.8 omnibus. Would you fill your trunk up with beer and send your kids out for a night on the town and tell them don't get drunk? Of course you wouldn't.
Of course.
That's totally irresponsible. But that's what Paul Ryan did. He funded everything that Obama wanted, and then he tried to carve it back. I mean, that's ridiculous. So it defies reason. Any of the things that he's doing, as people start to realize that all of his money, the vast majority, 83% of his money came from outside of our district. That on top of the fact that 65% of that came from special interests, it explains everything.
Well, that's one of the problems with the TPP that I have is that it's filled, really. It's not a free trade agreement, and I'm for free trade more than the next guy, but it is not a free trade agreement. It is not a fair deal, if you will. It is basically a big gift to special interest groups and to big banks overseas and here in the United States, and it really is going to shut out the middle guy, and that is not what we want. That is not what we should have. And that is not the goal to American prosperity. For a guy that claims that gives all of his interns a job that is to read Ayn Rand, remember Paul Ryan known as the Ayn Rand guy, right? I don't think he follows her philosophy very well, and I am a big proponent of Ayn Rand. So to me, Paul Ryan is a slap in the face. He abandoned her and the whole philosophy, that strong government, that strong principled stance on limited government, right back in 2012 when he decided to become Mitt Romney's VP. And unfortunately, it's been just continuing ever since. Let's talk about Puerto Rico, because you brought that up earlier, and I want to bring this up again. Puerto Rico, should we bail them out? Of course not. That's absolutely terrible. Frederick Hayek, great economist, said once, central planning just doesn't work, period, across the board. It sounds like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, some type of Stalin-Mao combination that Paul Ryan wants to put together. Yeah. Then how should you solve the Puerto Rican crisis?
Well, let me ask you this. Let's put it on a personal level. Your next-door neighbor has a problem. Are you responsible for fixing that problem?
Of course not.
No, of course not. Well, how is it possible? So let me put it in investment terms for you. So you have money in Enron and you have money in WorldCom. Did anybody suggest that we would bail you out when you got a sucker punch by Enron and WorldCom? Because I can tell you right now, I know people that lost money in Enron and WorldCom deals, and they didn't get bailed out. So tell me why we should bail out Paul Ryan's special interest buddies who have tax-free investments in Puerto Rico? I can tell you what, you don't even need to tell me anything. There is no answer to that. The answer is we shouldn't. They made investments in Puerto Rico that they should get a sucker punch for. If they thought the American taxpayer should have been paying them out the whole time, then that's exactly what they earned. That's exactly what they earned. And it's a shame that those elected officials poorly spent that money or they managed the economy. I mean, look at Puerto Rico put together minimum wage, jack the minimum, paying everybody. I mean, it's disingenuous at best to say we should be bailing out Puerto Rico. And then Paul Ryan, the way Paul Ryan tells a story, it's even more insidious. So Paul Ryan says, look, here's what we need to do. We need to put this board together. And then what we need to do, and he starts to go into this jibber jabber, and forget the jibber jabber for a second, because the next most important piece is coming next. He says, we need to do this because the American taxpayer will end up paying for it later if we don't. Well, Mr. Brainiac, what's the mechanism for making that happen? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what the mechanism is. There is no mechanism. He wants to do it now. He wants to do it now because there is no mechanism. The mechanism is those folks that made those poor investment choices or made those investment choices that they were already trying to get over on the American taxpayer, thinking, we'll just get them to pay it later because they won't know any better when we tell them it needs to be a bailout. Paul Ryan's spending his time doing this and not spending his time on looking after our military veterans. The stuff they're doing to the Marines and to our Army and Air Force, and I'm an advisory board member for Operation Homefront. 94 cents on every dollar that goes to Operation Homefront goes to help the family members of active duty service members. So we raise money that goes, if an active duty service member's family, if a service member is deployed or whatever, they can't make a car payment, they can't get their plumbing fixed, they have a problem with that money goes there, right? Paul Ryan's spending his time figuring out how to solve a problem that his special interest buddies did in Puerto Rico. The hell am I pay his salary.
You do, and in effect, all of us sort of do, and it just goes to show you the disastrous effects of Paul Ryan. Paul, where can we go? Not the other Paul. Paul, where can we go to help out with the campaign?
Call me Nealon.
Okay.
Call me Nealon. Absolutely.
Paul Nealon, where can we go to learn more?
Go to Elect Nealon, NEHLEN.com, and you'll be able to see position papers on all whole number of things. And there are more coming. Also, if you want to take the fun route, it'll get you the same place. But sometimes you want to take the fun route. Go to dumppaulryan.com, and you can get a look at that truck first.
I love this truck, Paul. I'm telling you right now, this is such a great picture right here.
I love to hear that. I love to hear it.
It's great. It's like a Tonka truck, and it says Dump Ryan. It is absolutely great. The website, dumppaulryan.com. Paul Nealon, he's running against Paul Ryan. You can even order Dump Ryan stress ball. I think I'm going to get one next to my President Obama and Nancy Pelosi stress balls. Paul Nealon, thanks for coming on.
I love to hear that.
Thanks for coming on the program. We appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck.
Love your listeners. Thanks.
Thanks,
guys
pal.
Take care.
You too.
Bye now.
That was Paul Nealon running against Paul Ryan. We got to go to break. When we return, we're going to bring this to a more national level right here on the Vito and Vito Show. We're going to talk about New York, and we're going to talk about if Ted Cruz has a shot at the nomination right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
You're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Vito, what's the call-in number?
718-705-4469. That's 718-449. I'm sorry, 705-4469.
Yes, that is the call-in number. If you're listening to the show on Thursday night, you got to click on the Listen Live button at www.vitoandvito.com. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time to call in live. If you're listening to a broadcast on another network, well, you're out of luck. You're blank out of luck. You figure that one out. All right, here on the Vito and Vito Show, we're talking. That was Paul Nealon. He was cool. He's challenging Paul Ryan. Vito, what you think?
It's about time. People are fed up with the establishment, and you're going to have these guys come like this to dump Paul Ryan.
Yep, that's basically it. I mean, people are fed up with the establishment. Paul Ryan's a liar, and that is absolutely, I think, it goes to show you the absolute failure of a man like that. It goes to show you that a guy who says one thing and turns around and does another thing is absolutely ridiculous. I brought up that Ayn Rand point before. He makes his interns read Ayn Rand, and he does the exact opposite when he's in office. He should be ashamed of himself, and he should stop making his interns.
Yep.
He should continue to let his interns read Ayn Rand, and hopefully they'll challenge him one day.
Maybe he should read Ayn Rand again.
Yeah, maybe he should read her. He's right. All right, let's talk about the primary. New York primary, it was absolutely a disaster for Ted Cruz. He absolutely suffered. He didn't get any delegates. Kasich picking up 3, Donald Trump picking up 89.
Wow.
Not a good day for Ted. Not a good day at all. So a lot of the pundits have been coming out saying Ted Cruz he's done. That's what they're saying.
He's not done.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. I mean, there is a way for Ted to get the nomination, and I want to break that down. We're going to get to that a little bit later on in the program. But Vito, what did you think of this disaster, really, that happened?
Not only was it a disaster for Ted Cruz, it was a disaster with the Board of Elections, everything. We were talking about this on Twitter. The Board of Elections decided to throw out...
Okay, hold on. For the listeners that are not in New York, the Board of Elections is the Board of Elections of New York. They had an absolute disaster, so please clarify that.
Well, there's Board of Elections throughout the country.
I don't know. They might have, chairmen of the board.
The Board of Elections
they call them out
is
now,
the people who take care of the election process for New York. So in Kings County, where we live, there were over 100,000 registered voters just purged because of the chief clerk of the Board of Elections, who got suspended today without pay. Over 100,000 just got thrown out. So my father, who wanted to go to vote for Donald Trump, was not in the book. He could not vote. So he had to do an affidavit. But this happened. This created chaos. In Harlem, they weren't even Republican ballots. So to say the least, it was a mess for the election process in New York. An even bigger mess for Ted Cruz, who did not get any delegates. And Trump, as we expected, winning his home state.
It also goes to show you with something like that, if Donald Trump's running for president, pretty much every state that's had a primary so far has seen record turnout. The reasons for New York not to be prepared, especially in Harlem and different places like that, is an absolute disgusting fact that government is inept even in performing a job such as an election. You figure that they would get this right. Absolutely not. I mean, they have failed in every single respect of the word. And I pray that a liberal calls into this program sometime or comes on in the future so I could physically, attack them, because this is absolutely, I don't know how to shake it out of people when you try to explain to them that the government cannot do anything efficiently. A private company would never have done this or messed up this bad. And if they did, there would have been repercussions. What are the repercussions for someone like this? The entire system was a disaster. So you fire the head, you're still going to have the same system in place, and it's still going to be a disaster. Your father should have never filled out an affidavit. I don't know who he wanted to vote for, and you shouldn't say the respect his choice. But that man should have been able to vote like everybody else, him and the millions of other people. But I got a gripe to grip, really, with the whole Bernie Sanders thing. Bernie Sanders absolutely losing. He lost by around 20 points here in New York. He lost pretty bad, and he was banking on New York to do a very good job for him. Vito, he got demolished here.
In the beginning, we were looking at the exit polls. It looked pretty tight, but then Hillary ran away with it. And to tell you the truth, this is what you expect. As many socialists as you know in New York, those college students, there's not enough college students to win over a whole state for Bernie Sanders. You got Hillary Clinton, which is her adopted state, quote unquote. She's not from here. I do not take credit for her living here. Okay, I don't want her here. She was a senator from New York because she decided to move here years ago. Carpetbagger. So she's over here. People love her here. The women, the liberals. She's still popular. No matter what political revolution Bernie Sanders is doing, he's rallying up kids, but he's rallying up socialists. And as much as you want to say, there's not that many socialists in the United States. No matter how many Democrats, independents, whatever in the middle who aren't conservative, they still aren't far-left socialists.
And he's not just rallying socialists. He's rallying kids. You hit on that before. Kids are not going to take you over the hump. You're going to have to establish some type of coalition. You're going to have to win somehow, some way. You're not going to win by just preaching to the choir. It doesn't work like that. You got to do sort of like Ted Cruz in a way was doing, where you have Mark Levin and you have, Lindsey Graham jumping on board the Cruz crew. And then you have Donald Trump with Carl Icahn, and you have other people jumping on. You got to be able to diversify yourself. You can't be like John Kasich and only appeal to moderates, and you can't be like Bernie Sanders and only appeal to crazy socialists. We got a call. I want to welcome him on the program. You're on the Vito and Vito show. What's up?
Hey, it's Hunter.
What's up, Hunter? Where are you calling from?
It's Wisconsin.
What's up, Hunter? All right, so talk to me. What you obviously were watching the return to the New York primary.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so tell me what you think. Ted Cruz had a bad night. Bernie had a pretty bad night. That's what we're saying. What do you think?
Well, it's something else. You know what I mean? I was surprised by the Bernie loss, but generally, that thing kind of sort of happens. Like you said, there's not enough socialists in New York to get him past that initial hump. And plus, it is Hillary's state. Like, she was a senator.
Mm-hmm.
She did a number of things for New York, and then she was part of the Obama administration, which New York is pretty favorable to. So, Mayor Bill de Blasio and all that. So,
but you said you were surprised by the Bernie loss. I mean, explain to me for a second. Because I could tell you straight out, this is where Bernie was trying to rally his comeback. He was going to be the comeback kid in New York. The fact that the man left for Rome in the middle of his campaign in New York from the against a former senator of the state, it's pretty. Mm-hmm. It goes to show you the lack of political knowledge this guy has. Not to say Hillary is a political genius. She's a failure in every regard of the word. She's a terrible campaigner. She should have locked this thing up months ago. But it goes to show you the fact that Bernie Sanders just really is a complete fool when it comes down to politics and economics and other things as well. But, I mean, just answer me this, Hunter. What about on the Republican side? Do you think Ted still has a shot?
I still think Ted has a shot. I mean, you have to keep in mind, before this, Trump lost like 5 or 6 states. Like, now, all of a sudden, they're saying, oh, Donald Trump is back. Like, it's the same thing. Like, and also going back to the Bernie thing, I just want to mention this. Bernie was campaigning heavily in New York too. He was campaigning in the Bronx. He spoke at Brooklyn College. He spoke at a number of different places. He was actually juggling between Madison, Wisconsin, and Appleton as well. He was really banking on those states. He got Wisconsin, but that's why it was like a little bit surprising. But then going back to Ted Cruz. No, I still think he has a shot. I mean, if you look at 538's delegate count, he's only like 57% of his projected goal. But you have to keep in mind, if it comes down to a contested convention, a lot of those delegates, super delegates, I think might like switch to Ted Cruz's side.
Well, just for the record, the Republicans don't have superdelegates, but you do make a good point. A lot of those delegates.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's all right. I think for the most part, a lot of those delegates will not vote for Trump on the second ballot. I just don't see it happening. I think they're tied to him right now because of what the rules are currently in place. If Trump's going to win, he's got to win right now on the first ballot. In regards to what you said about Bernie, I mean, you said he had a rally at Brooklyn College, which is a socialist haven that Vito goes to. You had this, you had this entire thing with Bernie. He's appealing to so many people. He had a big rally in Prospect Park, gigantic park in New York City. It's in Brooklyn in particular, and a lot of young people showed up. A lot of young kids registered to go vote for Bernie. He was making a big complaint when he talked about how the voter laws here in New York are absolutely rigged, that you should let independents vote. He wanted an open primary. Bernie is really just crying and whining. The rules are pretty much in place, and just because you get kids to come to your rallies doesn't mean it's going to translate into votes. I mean, the man is, you have to, like I said before, you got to establish a bigger coalition, and unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to do that, and I don't think he's going to be able to do that any further. He keeps campaigning and beating Hillary. He's going to give a gift to the Republicans and make it even easier for Donald or Ted or whoever to try to defeat Hillary, because the more he keeps getting attacked, the more she keeps getting attacked by Bernie, the more farther away Bernie's voters are going to go from Hillary, because she is going to be the nominee.
Yep. And also, it was interesting to see what happened in New York. You heard about, you were just talking about the affidavit incident, where several, thousands, I believe, people had voting records, voted in mayoral campaigns, gubernatorial campaigns. They voted in our elections, and they were just simply not allowed to cast a vote in this primary, which is kind of strange,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it goes to show you the absolute disaster that government is. It's an absolute disaster, and it translates even over into the election process. So those who say government can work in some regards, I have to just doubt them in pretty much every respect. Thanks for giving us a call, Hunter. We appreciate it. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you for having me on. Thanks.
All right, Vito. So, I mean, this just goes to show you there's some hope out there. People in Wisconsin apparently do like Ted.
He won Wisconsin, right?
Well, yeah, he did. So I don't know if that gentleman did vote for Ted. Let's hope he did. But let's go ahead and break this down, Vito, because I had a whole list here. Instead of getting indoctrinated in my college classroom, I decided to break down a list of how Donald Trump how Ted Cruz can stop Donald Trump from getting the nomination. Or basically, even John Kasich, if you will. But Kasich, I don't see him having a shot. It's going to come down to this. Tell me if I'm wrong. The next couple of states coming up: Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Connecticut, West Virginia, New Jersey, New Mexico. All those delegates are up for play. I'm not going through all of them, but there's a bunch. That's basically the entire Northeast. And if you look at, with the exception of New Mexico, if you look at it, Trump right now has 845 delegates. You add the rest of those states I just mentioned. If Trump wins all of them, like it's projected he will, he'll walk away with 1,072 delegates. Now, California's the big one. He's about 10 points ahead, and if you look at some average polls between him and Ted Cruz, in some polls, he's even behind by 1 or 2 points. Some polls, he's even winning by a point or two. It's all over the place in California. California, you have 172 delegates at stake. The winner statewide gets 10 delegates. Right now, Donald Trump has 40% of the vote if you look at the averages. So I took that. 40% of the averages right here is for Donald Trump. That equals about 21 congressional districts. Ted Cruz at 31% on the average. That averages about 16 congressional districts. John Kasich, 16%. That averages about 8 congressional districts. So now what does that mean? If Donald Trump gets 21 congressional districts, plus he gets the 10 delegates statewide, 21 times 3 delegates per district comes out to 73 delegates. What does all this mean? Very simple. Add the 1,072 delegates Trump would get from winning the entire Northeast and New Mexico with the 73 delegates he could possibly split in California. He gets 1,145 delegates. He's short 92 delegates of the nomination, 1,237. He can then, at that point, he's eligible to go. Oh, well, not eligible. He's always eligible, but he's basically. It's all he needs now is at least 92 of the 109 unbound delegates. So he needs, effectively, this is the most. If I was a campaign manager, this is what I'm saying to Ted Cruz. You have to win at least 20 or more districts in California to block Donald Trump the nomination. And that's assuming Ted Cruz wins Washington, Oregon, Indiana, and Montana. And I mean, there is a shot for him to block him at the nomination. It's going to come down to California. But I just wonder if Ted Cruz can stop him. What do you think of that?
I think he can, but California's the big one. I hope he's over there in California talking to delegates, but if he doesn't get to the brokered convention, all that work behind the scenes talking to those delegates is for nothing.
Yeah.
So he has to definitely worry about California, that's the main one, like you said, but also in the northeast states and certain other states, a few congressional districts might go towards his way. Even a few votes could change up which delegates go to who, and it's going to come down. It's going to be a very, very close finish.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And if you look at it, and like I said, you break down all the delegate numbers in the northeast states, including New Mexico. I threw that in there because it's pretty much, I think, going to go towards Trump. Some of these states are win and take all. Some of these states have you win proportionally. Some of these states you get congressional districts. It depends on different state rules, but it's going to be interesting to see. Like Vito said, if a couple of delegates are off, it could throw off the entire calculation that I did, and it make it even harder for Donald to get the nomination. I do not know, and I say I don't think he will get the 1237 needed. He better be rounding up unbound delegates as we speak, because I know Ted is out there, his gang's out there hustling, trying to get unbound delegates, and if he's not able to get unbound delegates and it goes towards Trump, the election is pretty much sealed in terms of the nomination process, barring and except, or at least considering that Ted, or Donald Trump rather, wins the entire Northeast plus New Mexico. It's gonna be close, and I hope and pray Ted Cruz pulls through, Vito. I really, really do. The man is superb, and I'm really rooting for him.
I hope so too, and I don't know if it's true, but somebody just tweeted at us that Abraham Lincoln also won the nomination from the second time around.
And a lot of that was everybody, a little facet of history. Abraham Lincoln was actually people's second choice for the most part. You had about a good chunk of Republicans running. You had around, I don't know the exact number, let's just figure around 7 or 8. You had a good chunk. Go in the history book, go look it up. They don't teach us that in the American history course. We don't even have American history courses in college, ladies and gentlemen. It's all, how evil the United States was. But nonetheless, you do go back and you look at the amount of other presidential candidates surrounding Lincoln. He was in a tough fight. He was almost everybody's second choice. Come the convention, he's able to win at a brokered convention because he had, like I said, everybody's second choice. And he became the first choice because nobody else had the required number of delegates. We're going to break. When we return, we're going to bring on a Trump supporter to see what he has to say. Plus, forget about our moments of the week right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel? Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm
don't
and
ignore
keep to the
this
plan.
message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at readypa.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Here we are on the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Vito, we got a friend here in the studio.
That's right.
Yeah, the basement of the Empire State Building. Not the top floor, not the first floor. We can't afford any floor, so we snuck in the basement and did the show from there. All right. What's your name, sir? Identify yourself.
I'm Connor Frontera.
All right.
I live right not too far from you guys. I also live in Brooklyn. How's it going?
All right, Connor. Welcome to the program. And you obviously live in Brooklyn, like you said. And you support Donald Trump, right? Is that what you said?
Like all the other people that do.
Like all the other people that do. Very good. All right, that's a safe answer. All right, Connor, so you come out. Did you vote for Trump in the primary?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Okay, did you have any trouble voting, or was it 1, 2, 3 for you?
Actually, the only thing I want to say about voting, I had no trouble voting, but actually Ben Carson was on my ballot. I was very confused about that.
Yeah, well, because they planned for that stuff early on. I mean, I'm surprised, because in some states, I think Marco Rubio did better than John Kasich after Rubio dropped out, so it's a little embarrassing. And I wonder who voted for Ben Carson. Who's the schmuck out there that voted for him? Considering he's not even in the race. Connor, why Donald Trump? First of all, are you a college student or something like that?
Yeah, I'm a college student.
All right, so you're a college student and you like... We found him in the hallway, ladies and gentlemen. We just threw him in here. So you're a college student. You like Donald Trump. Why?
Well, I look at it like this. Donald is very, very... I want to say he's a maniac, basically. He's very anti-establishment, which I really like about him, that quality, because he'll put anybody under the microscope. And he'll dig deep. He'll tell you all the things that why you shouldn't vote for that person, what they did, Lion Ted, Little Marco. He'll throw everything out there, and he doesn't care. And one thing I do like about him is that he's honest. Even if he says things you don't want to hear.
Come on.
Listen, people say things you don't want to hear sometimes, and the truth hurts. And that's Donald Trump, and he'll hit you with the truth, and you might be upset, but that's it.
Yeah, but how does he turn around? How is he honest? I mean, for the past 10 years, the man was a Democrat.
I understand that. Now, he was a Democrat, yeah. But I like it that he's actually a little less, I want to say, conservative than Ted Cruz. That's the reason why I really didn't like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz's tax plan was very, 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 very straightforward. Mm-hmm. Not for me.
Art Laffer even endorsed it, the former economic advisor to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, but the
Ted Cruz tax plan.
America's not ready for something so strict. Especially, we're going to get, a lot of pressure from the left on Ted Cruz's tax plan. So I think Donald Trump's tax plan, which is scaling, is actually a little bit better. Maybe it'll set something up for the future to have, a better tax plan for the people on the right, the more conservatives.
Well, there are things about Donald Trump that I do like. Vito, you like some stuff about Donald Trump?
Like build the wall.
Yeah, and, deport illegal immigrants. That's all right by me. And, of course, the banning. My favorite part of the plan is the banning Muslim immigration, the temporary ban. I think it's absolutely wonderful. But aside from that, I can't really see where else Donald Trump fits in my mold.
Right, but what gets me is everything that I like about Trump, Cruz is also said and agrees with.
Yeah.
So you know what? I tend to like Cruz. You like Trump. I'm going to kick you out of my house soon after the show.
Well, hold on, wait a second, because I want to ask you this question too, Connor. You said that Ted Cruz might be a little too conservative, right? Right. You said he might be, and that's why Donald Trump appeals to you more. What is it about Cruz? Is it this notion that he identifies more with religious activity, religious liberty? Is it, he's more unwilling to compromise on principles? What is it about him, or do you just like Donald Trump for Donald Trump?
Well, I like Donald Trump because he's out of his mind. But I think Ted Cruz right now is too conservative for us. He's hitting a lot of the wrong, I want to say the wrong aspects of it too hard. With all his I want to say policies, but
but wait a second. I got to jump in there because but you don't think that Ted Cruz is hitting Donald Trump isn't going a little too hard on some issues? I mean, compared to what we've seen in the past, like immigration, for example. Everyone's calling for border security, which is like an electronic fence that George W. Bush tried to put up, which was an absolute disaster, a virtual fence, whatever the hell that means.
But let's
Donald Trump has such outspoken views. He takes some hard positions.
I agree, but let's. This is why I like Donald Trump, because Donald Trump will say the things that nobody else will say. He'll say, "I'll build a wall." I mean, I don't think Ted Cruz is going to say, "I'll build a wall" for political, because he's more of a politician than Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not a politician. He's just a straight up, I want to say, like, he's out of his mind. So he'll just say, I'm going to build a wall, and I'm going to make Mexico pay for the wall. Everyone's thinking that because they don't want illegal aliens in the country. They don't want people eating up their tax dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't disagree with you. I like, for example, Ted Cruz has been fighting for that wall since the day he got in the Senate. Donald Trump was for amnesty a couple of years ago. So I mean, I hear this notion that he's honest. I don't know if he's so honest. He's pretty fugazi, in my opinion. And fugazi is Brooklyn talk for fake.
Aside from that, I don't know if this is the politician Ted Cruz, but when he said he wants to build a wall, he actually has a plan to build it by not making Mexico pay for it. So I never understood how he's going to force Mexico to pay for that. So that's what always threw me off.
Unless it's going to be like a trade war.
Which I don't think would be a good idea.
But I could see Connor's appeal. I mean, I'll take his. He's got the best shoes out of all of us right now. I got to give it to him. He's got these brown.
He's wearing sandals.
Sandals.
I shine my shoes.
He shined his shoes. He got his shine box. I got to ask, Connor, I see where he's coming from. I see the appeal of Trump. Don't get me wrong. But a
lot of Americans do.
Yeah, a lot of Americans do. But I just don't know if I could turn around and full-heartedly support a man like Donald Trump. I don't even know if he, assuming he gets the nomination, I don't even know if I'll vote for him in the general election. It's that tough of a decision for me.
Well, let me ask a question. Do you like me?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, I'm a maniac, so why don't you like Donald Trump?
But you've been.
I like you, but not for president.
Yeah, you've been pretty consistent with your views. I mean, we've talked about politics in the past. Donald Trump 10 years ago was a Democrat. For the past 10 years, he's been a Democrat. I mean, and to tell me a lot of people say he was a businessman, that's BS, because the Koch brothers are not, they're businessmen rather, and they don't, pony up next to Nancy Pelosi and stuff like that. Donald Trump apparently does. And, I think there's this great picture going around the New York primary, and it says winners of the New York primary, and it's a picture of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and God knows what number wife he had. And it's like all of them together in a picture. I guess maybe it was somebody's wedding or some event. And you've all seen this picture out on Facebook. We'll retweet the meme for you at Vito and Vito Show on our social media pages. It's pretty funny, I gotta say, because here's a guy 1 minute ago, he's all happy and excited. The next minute, he's lying to people. So, and enough with the lying Ted. Enough with that already, right? I'm tired of the lying Ted stuff. Vito, it's that time of the week again. Connor, thanks for coming on. That time of the weekend. Forget about it. Moments of the week.
What? Forget about it? Forget about it. Forget about it.
Paul, forget about it.
We got Forget About It Moments of the Week. Connor, you can stick around for this. Vito, we got about 4 to 5 minutes, so let's keep it quick. What do you got?
Ready? In California, there's a person going around with a fake petition getting people to sign it to ban cash. And people are going along with it.
And what are they going to pay things with?
No, electronic, Vito. It's the 21st century.
Okay, all right. And then when somebody steals your card, then what?
Forget about it.
Forget about it is right. Forget about it is
cash.
right. Oh, my God.
That's California. Ready? It gets better.
All right, go ahead.
Still in California, the Metro is going to start fining people over at least $100 for, ready? For man-spreaders.
Oh, my God. There's your political... Stuff like this makes me want to support Donald Trump because anti-PC.
And if you take up 2 seats.
Okay, now let's keep in mind, what is man-spreading? Connor, you know what man-spreading is?
Well, yeah, man-spreading is when you kind of spread your legs. Tell me if I'm wrong, actually. When you spread your legs and you show, all the stuff down there when you're on the train or bus or something like that.
You let your jewels breathe a little bit, all right?
Well, I mean, that's what men do.
You man-spread. What, girls can't man-spread? What, they don't spread their legs open a little bit when they're sitting on the train?
Oh, Jesus, Vito.
Oh, come on.
No, you know what they should do? They should actually have something in place for, like, a lot of cleavage showing.
Yeah, I get offended when I see that cleavage on the train.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely, I don't know if I get offended, huh? Oh, yeah, I get a little excited when I see
You'll be getting
a
a fine for that now, for man-spreading.
See, here's a victimless
What if
crime.
I can't cross my legs?
This is another example of here's another example of a victimless crime. You didn't do anything wrong. You're just sitting there, literally spreading your legs. What's the big deal? Leave people alone.
Listen, you got Donald Trump on the train, let's say. He's got big hands, right? You know what they say about big hands? He can't cross his legs. You going to fine him?
Well, I'm sure. Listen, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump could afford a fine. Not to say that he should be fined, but I'm just saying.
I can't.
It wouldn't hurt him. It would probably hurt us. And you know what? I got big hands too, so I need to spread it, and I can't afford it. All right, Vito, what else you
Ready?
got there?
For you and your little hands, Jai Jai in China. Her name is Jai Jai. It's the first robot girlfriend. Congratulations. For your 21st birthday, I'm going to get you a robotic girlfriend.
Great. Because they probably don't require anything. I don't have to take them out anywhere. All I have to do is just stick her in a closet. When I'm ready, just pull her out again, right?
Yeah, oil up the rust after
what?
a while.
It's like
Wait, ready for what?
What?
Ready for what? When
Ready.
you're ready, you're going to pull her out again? What?
Put 2 and 2 together, pal. You tell me what I'm going to do with a robotic girlfriend.
Good bait, mate.
I'm going to go to town. They're going to call me the Bionic Man. That's what's going to happen. Make some RoboCop kids. That's some sick stuff. People, they're that desperate, really?
Well, China, they're always inventing new stuff. I mean, right? Didn't we watch the poll? There's a poll that came out a couple months ago. I remember talking about this on the segment. That I think Japan or China have the lowest sexually active people at all.
Well, you know what,
20% of the population just doesn't like sex.
Well, a lot of
which means someone's doing something wrong.
A lot of that is your what is it called? That one child policy, you know?
Yeah, they're trained to not like it.
Yeah, that's awful, man. I mean, come on. Open up prostitution out there. You know what we should do? We should send a camera crew and a gaggle of prostitutes